Today's topic of discussion is why are relationships breaking down? So for this video, I've done a survey where I asked both men and women a bunch of questions related to why are relationships breaking down. So I'm going to be discussing some key points in terms of the men's perspective, women's perspective, and then from my point of view. So yeah, question one. First question I asked was, is it men or women's fault? So from the woman's side, majority of women, they said it's the men's fault. A few of them said it's both. So it's both men and women's fault. And it's about taking accountability from both sides. So my answer to this is why relationships are mainly breaking down in today's society is mainly because of men. Men aren't leaders in today's society. Men are not providing, they're not protecting, they haven't got that solid masculine frame. That's really important when it comes to getting a woman to comply and getting a woman to cooperate. These previous generations, last 10, 20, 30 years or so, the dads have poor leadership. So a lot of these guys are like beta male providers. So with the whole modern day feminism, indoctrination and all these other things going on, the system has really taken control of relationships. And the main breakdown is breaking down the man. Because when you break down that guy, get him to constantly go back and forth with his partner, when they have children, the children are going to come out dysfunctional. They are not going to have a solid foundation. So question two, why are women initiating 70 to 80% of divorces? So you've got about 40 to 50% of relationships where men and women are getting married. And then of those relationships, 70 to 80% of the women are initiating the divorce. So from the answers that I got from women's side, so majority of women said they are not satisfied in the relationship, they're not happy, men aren't protecting, they're not providing anymore, and they don't love their partner anymore. And then from the men's answer, so men said that they're not providing enough and they're not able to fund the lifestyle of a woman. So my answer to this is the main reason why women are initiating 70 to 80% of divorces is simply from the wrong information and programming of both men and women. So men and women, they're both prioritizing external over internal qualities. So you've got guys, they're trying to chase this whole 10K a month, trying to live up to a certain lifestyle. And when they're not able to provide that lifestyle, they feel like they're not good enough for a woman. So you've got the beta male providers, they're literally doing everything, trying to lead with money and status. And then you've got women, they are just literally taking what they can out of the guy, because that's all the guy is showing. That's all the guy is trying to lead with. So when you lead with money and status, guess what happens? You get a breakdown in relationships. You get women initiating divorce. That's why it's so important. Lead with your personality, your confidence, development of character. Get a woman to think that you ain't really got much money, or you're just getting by. And then when she falls in love with who you are as a person, she's going to much more likely to stay with you in the long term. So that's what it is. So with women, they're not going to be happy, isn't it? Because they're not marrying the pound coin, the pound note. They're not marrying the flipping piece of paper. They're marrying you as a person. Do you understand? So providing, protecting, but then you've got internal qualities to make a woman feel good. So when you're somebody who makes a woman feel good, she's less likely to divorce you and initiate divorce. So yeah, question 3. Has social media destroyed relationships? So from the woman's side, majority of women said no, it hasn't. And then majority of men said yes. So some women said it can create, disloyalty, distrust. They're not able to trust their husband or their partner, whoever it is. So my answer to this is social media has definitely contributed towards a breakdown in marriages and relationships. It's played a significant role in that. Reason being is because you've got unrealistic expectations of relationships. So let's say a man and a woman, they're in a relationship and they scroll through Instagram. So when they're scrolling through Instagram, they see these happy couples traveling to, let's say, Dubai. And then the man is getting his partner some flowers and he's supposedly treating her well, right and well. So then when a woman sees that, she's looking at that and she's thinking, oh, when was the last time my husband bought me some flowers? You see how that creates a dysfunctional type expectation. You're looking at that couple on social media and you're thinking, oh yeah, that's what people are doing on a day-to-day basis. But they're not seeing what they're doing behind closed doors. That's why it's so important. Do not compare yourself to anyone on social media. Limit your social media consumption as much as you can. Don't look at these whole modern day type relationships, because none of those relationships are in satisfied marriages. So if you look at the stats, right, men and women who are posting more content, posting their life, they tend to be more dissatisfied. And the couples who are posting less on the internet and who are keeping their lives private, they tend to be more satisfied and more happy. So these women here, they're thinking that it doesn't have an effect on them. The answer is it does. Do you understand? So I'm more in favor of the guys. The guys seem to understand this, but certain women, they're not quite clocking onto this. Because you're not really going to clock onto this is because when you got, for example, your inbox, which is flooded with all these beta males, you're getting a dopamine hit. So that's why certain women's viewpoint of social media can become distorted. Question 4. What's more important, internal or external? So for majority of women, they said internal. So a guy's personality, his confidence, his charm, acts of chivalry. Now some women said, oh yeah, guy who opens the door for them, provided. So that's what women said. And then the men's answer was both. So as long as a woman looks good and has good energy. So that's what guys said. So my answer to that is, with women, they're tending to fall in love more with internal qualities. So how a man makes her feel. So that's why she said that. So you got the beta males, they're saying, oh yeah, we want to get a haircut every single week, and that's what's going to get women to comply and cooperate. That's not how life works. You beta males are going to get treated as ATM machines. None of you lot are going to be in satisfied relationships. If you're trying to lead with your external and trying to lead with your haircut and trying to look pretty, a woman can't respect that. So when you've got, for example, with the men, the men are saying, oh, we want a woman who looks good. You see, when guys are saying this, they're not looking at it from an objective point of view. Certain times, they're looking at it from a lustful point of view. So they're looking at the woman's outside, and they don't realize that this woman here, she's a flipping demon. She's got narcissistic characteristics within her. I'm talking about some women, not flipping all of them. I'm not saying all of them. You've got some women who are really, really narcissistic. And some of them are seen as really, really attractive. They literally will take you for granted. So it's really important. Don't be that type of guy who's prioritizing external over internal. Make sure you prioritize the internal qualities. Question 5. Why are women single and childless? So by 2030, 50% of all women between the ages of 24 to 45 will be single and childless. So half of the women in UK. So the women's answer, so women said the reason why they're single and childless and the reason why they're not in a relationship is because they haven't found the right person. The right person hasn't come along. You know, men aren't leaders anymore. And then from the men's answer, so men said that women have too many options. They don't know who to choose from. And women think that they're higher value than what they actually are. So my answer to that is the main reason why women are single and childless in today's time is because both men ain't leaders anymore, and then women are not trying to cooperate with men. They're not trying to follow direction because they're too busy focused on all these different options. It's like if you go into a store, right, and you're trying to pick out a drink. If you've got 100 different options there, and then they've all got advantages, disadvantages, you're going to be there all day trying to decide which one you want. But if you know exactly what you want going into the store, and you're saying, oh yeah, I just want to pick water. Reason being is because that provides the most benefits. You're able to just grab the water and just exit out. So that's what it is. That's why social media has had a serious detriment on women's mental health. It's really brought out a bunch of insecurities and a bunch of anxiety in women. You know, they're looking at all these boss babe type women on there, got all this plastic surgery done, all this makeup, all these dirty outfits. And then they're seeing how a bunch of beta males are liking their photos and videos and then commenting all day. And they're thinking, oh yeah, you know, that's what's good. It's not. There's a difference between a guy wanting a woman for the right reasons and the wrong reasons. If he's just lusting after her body and what she looks like, rather than actually who she is as a person, her character, how she conducts herself, her respect, how she's got feminine qualities about her. Question 6, final question. What's more successful, modern day relationships or traditional relationships? So with women, majority of them said modern day relationships. Women can make their own money. You know, they can get whatever they want, whilst a man pays for everything else. And then men, their answer was mix of both between modern and traditional. So women can pay towards bills and split duties. These modern day relationships do not work. Yeah, this whole agenda of a man and a woman, they can both do 50-50 and do everything together. A man can work extended long hours. A woman can work extended long hours. That's complete BS. All that does is lead to a breakdown in their relationship. They're both chasing after the paycheck, money. When you've got a traditional couple, you've got a man who's providing and protecting, is taking care of the household, and you've got a woman who's prioritizing, supporting the husband on his purpose and mission, allowing him to reach his potential, because these women certain times they want to just get involved in everything. They want to tell a guy what to do and this and that, rather than actually allowing the guy to be in a leadership position, letting him make the decisions. Now, obviously, you've got a leader who takes into account everyone's viewpoints. So if they both have, let's say, a disagreement, the husband's say is final. So I'm not just saying that. There's a hadith which mentions that. There's several hadiths which mention that, about how a woman who's obedient towards her husband, who has a strong connection with God, she can enter from whichever gates of paradise. There's a hadith on that as well. You can go research that. And there's verses in the Quran which talk about it as well. About how when a woman is cooperative, she's obedient towards her husband, she's going to be more successful in this life and the next life. Because that's what it comes with. So a bunch of modern day women, they want a traditional man with traditional benefits, so provider and protector, but they're not trying to be a traditional woman. Now, you've got, for example, a housewife, which is a traditional role, but there's a lot more to it. So if, for example, a woman wants to work a job as, let's say, a teacher, she's working part-time, but she's still taking care of the household, she's taking care of the household duties, she's taking care of her children, she's supporting the husband on his purpose and mission, that can still work. But when you've got a man that's working, let's say, full-time, a woman's working full-time, and then they've got kids, and then they're throwing the kids in daycare centers, which a bunch of relationships, a bunch of people are doing nowadays. It's a trend to chuck your kids in daycare centers, pay flipping hundreds and thousands a month to random strangers. That's what's going to lead to a breakdown in that household. So these relationships, they don't work, they fizzle out. The whole modern day relationships don't work. So women here, they think that they can have the best of both worlds. And you've got men who are thinking that, oh yeah, we can do 50-50 type stuff and get women to pay towards our bills as well. You're in for a rude awakening. These women here will get you to pay for everything, and then she'll keep her own money as well, and she won't want to pay towards anything, and she'll get you to take care of the household duties as well and raise the kids. That's not going to be beneficial for you in the long term. You're just going to get drained, you're going to get sucked. So it's really important. Make this clear from the get-go, what you expect from a relationship. What are your expectations for long term? Discuss these questions. Ask her, okay, if we used to have a child together, are you somebody who wants to work full time? Or are you somebody who's happy to be a stay-at-home mom? Or happy to work a lot less hours, part-time, but making sure to prioritize the children? Because you're going to come across certain women who say, nah, I don't feel comfortable raising the child. I'd rather just do full-time work. I'd rather just have kids later on, late 20s and 30s. So those are all red flags. Because these independent type women, they come with certain masculine qualities within them. And then when a masculine man conflicts with a masculine woman, they're not going to get on. You know, masculinity and femininity, complete opposite. That's what creates a healthy relationship. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.